How you doing there, folks? This is Dublin City today. I am Sean and you guys are all super welcome. Thanks a million for joining me. I am here at home on my balcony chilling like a villain, and I had told you guys in the last update video if you had any questions for me you could leave them in the comment sections of that particular video, which you did, and I have some questions. There wasn't a ton of questions, to be fair, but there was some, and I did screenshots of them because my memory isn't what it used to be. So I suppose I'm not going to take all day about this. I'm going to dive straight into some of your questions here, and let me see. Okay, so the first one is from Kittle49, and Kittle49 has asked, does Ali Sherlock still sing in Dublin? And well, yeah, I mean, when there's we're in a level 5 lockdown at the moment, so when there's no restrictions and when busking is happening, well, Ali is up here pretty much every weekend on Grafton Street, and she will be again most certainly when things return, which I hope they will soon. You can expect to see Ali back out on the streets of Dublin doing her thing. Let me see, Paddy Dillon, absolute legend. Paddy Dillon, amazing support to this channel since we began, and he's an amazing support to all the buskers. I think like Paddy is just an absolute legend, you know. So he had left a comment, and part of he had left a question with the comment, if I can get back to it here, and which was well, I can't find it now. That's crazy. I'm sorry. Basically, Paddy was asking me, will I have enough time to deal, because we're on Discord, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and all these platforms, and I'm pretty much, it's just myself and my nephew Kieran, you know, that's looking after everything here at DCT. And the answer to that, to be honest with you, is that it has been overwhelming, like too much, to be honest, and like it's kind of taken over my whole life really. And so I'm trying to get some balance back into my life. Over the last, I think, a month or two, I haven't been enjoying what I've been doing, I'm going to be honest with you, you know, because I've been getting so much from so many different directions, and there's also, like, it's time consuming looking after all the emails and the comment sections. I'm looking after everything. It's just, it takes up every single bit of time that I have, and which means that I haven't had any kind of life. So I'm trying to get some balance back into my life, and I may have to remove the Discord because I haven't been able to monitor the Discord, to be honest with you. Like, and I'm gonna see what I can do about the Patreon also. The Patreon, it was for the Busker Development Fund, but to be honest with you, it's just a nightmare, you know. Like, when you try to do things like that to help people, it can kind of backfire in the way that all of a sudden you'll have people kind of going, is it going on this, is it going that, why am I not getting anything, they're getting anything? It's just a nightmare really, you know. So I just rather not deal with it, to be honest. I think the best way, if people want to support the buskers financially, I've always encouraged the buskers to set up their own PayPal, and then I put their PayPal links in the description of their videos. So I think rather than us doing a Patreon for a busker fund, I think that if you guys want to donate to a particular busker, well, then you're free to do that, you know, because I mean, like, trying to look after a fund in itself takes a hell of a lot of work, and like I say, there's only two of us here. I haven't got the time, and it's actually quite stressful when people are on to me and they're kind of like, we want the money here, we want the money there, and it's just so many different people want so many different things, and it's just it's impossible, you know. So I may have to get rid of the Patreon as well as the Discord. We'll be taking down that web page as well, because it was part of the DCT media production thing that isn't anymore, actually, which I explained on the last video. So there's been a lot of changes here at DCT. I mean, to be honest with you, like, DCT, it's just like a roller coaster for me anyway, and for probably you guys, because like there's so many twists, turns, ups, downs, You know, I've learned to just kind of go with the flow with things, and I'm thankfully with Jasmine there, my girlfriend. She kind of helps me with getting balance in my life and with managing stress levels and stuff like that, because she's very, very good at tranquility, calmness, that kind of thing. You know, so I'm blessed to have her. So we have some questions here for Wouse. I hope I pronounced that correctly, Wouse, because you've been an amazing support to myself, the channel, and to the Buskers. Your positivity, encouragement, and kindness is hugely appreciated, my friend. So you said, "Dear Sean, as announced, here are my questions. Question number 1. What's the most special thing about busking in Dublin and Ireland for you?" I think probably the most special thing for busking in Dublin and Ireland for me is the people that you meet, you know, the buskers that you meet, the energy that busking creates, the atmosphere, people going by, stopping and chatting, and it creates a really, really nice energy in a city, you know, and there's nothing better than just, you know, coming up to a busker and just... it's somebody who's really passionate about their music, and just sitting and listening and taking it in. It's just that's what I love. It's just the energy, and the people you meet are fantastic, you know. Question number 2. How has the busking scene been changing over the years in your opinion? Well, I suppose before I set up DCT, if you go back to busking, how it used to be before licensing came in, I suppose it has, like anything else, it has its pros and its cons, its ups and its downs, you know. I think in general, like, my opinion is kind of slightly changing on it, to be honest with you, because I was all up for the changes that they brought in, because with the licensing and everything, I thought it created a really good community, actually, and it just meant that, like, if, say, a new busker was coming out onto the street, like, you know, that they were equal to everybody else, as in, I think in the past maybe people would hog a bit the more popular busking spots, and now there's like a time limit, so you have to move on, which gives other people a chance and stuff like that. So I kind of thought when actually the licensing did a good job, and then I kind of I'm in two minds. Like I say, there's pros and cons to everything, you know, and I think what happened there with the last lockdown, even when we were on level 3, they banned busking in Dublin, and they took away all the licenses from the buskers, yet there was busking all over Ireland. I mean, there were absolute big crowds in other parts of the country listening to buskers busk, you know, so you had a lot of the buskers leaving Dublin to go around to the country and busk, which I think is, like, I don't see why Dublin should be singled out. So I think the fact that, like, they had licenses actually worked against them, because there's no licensing down in Cork, for example, so people were able to go down and busk in Cork, yet the people in Dublin who towed the line had to pay for their licenses and everything were told they're not allowed to busk. So, you know, again, it's got its pros and cons, but I thought the Dublin buskers were treated extremely unfairly, in that they were told, like, we can't busk in Dublin, and everywhere else in the country are allowed to busk. I mean, I don't see how that makes any sense. Does coronavirus spread differently in other parts of the country? Does it spread differently in a crowd? Do crowds form differently in other parts of the country? It's just silliness, you know. So it just seemed, like I say, that the busking community in Dublin was singled out, and they were told their licenses were suspended until further notice, you know. So, you know, like I say, in other parts of the country where they don't have licenses, they were able to go out and busk, and there was no issue with that, you know. So I hope that when this level 5 lockdown ends, which I think has gone on way too long, to be honest with you, I'm hoping that busking does resume in Dublin. If it's going to resume in other parts of the country, I think it should resume here in Dublin, and if it doesn't resume here in Dublin and it is in other parts of the country, well, I suppose I'm just going to have to go around to other parts of the country to record the busking there. So we'll see what develops with that, you know, but I do think that buskers in Dublin were treated extremely unfairly, to be honest. Question number 3. What is your biggest goal, your dream to attain with DCT? What would satisfy you? What would make you happy? So that question number 3 was kind of broken up into 2 parts, which I'm happy to answer. Okay, so the first part is, what is your biggest goal, your dream to attain with DCT? It's a good question, really. I mean, I've always said that I have a vision of us putting on a Live Aid style concert in Croke Park Stadium, which holds like 80,000 people, or Aviva Stadium, something like that. But I would like to do a Live Aid style concert with the Buskers up on a stage, collaborating together and putting on a show for the whole world. You know, there's plenty of other things that I would like to do also, but I've learned to kind of keep my cards close to my chest with some of the things that I want to do, because of different reasons I won't go into right now. What would satisfy you? What would make you happy? Well, I'm already happy. I mean, even like, which is a very good question actually, and I'm glad you asked it. What would make me happy? I'm actually happy already. I'm even like, my happiness wouldn't depend on the success or the failure of a YouTube channel. You know, so whether the channel was, because I mean the thing with YouTube is it's very fickle. You could wake up tomorrow and your channel could be gone, you know. It could be taken away from you without much explanation, to be honest with you. So it's kind of fickle, you know. But my happiness definitely doesn't depend on that. Like I'm happy regardless of whether I'm successful on a YouTube channel or career or anything like that. In fact, if whatever is going on around me, I'm generally pretty happy. And I think I put that down to probably how I view things and how I look at things. I choose to be happy, and I'm hugely grateful for the air in my lungs, you know, and I'm very, very grateful for the to be able to see, to be able to hear, to be able to speak, to be able to walk, to be able to have food on my table, to have electricity, to have a warm bed to sleep in, all those things. Being grateful. I mean, I say this, the world's shortest prayer at least 1,000 times a day, and the world's shortest prayer is called thank you. So I say thank you many times every day, and I stay really grateful, which keeps me being happy, because I'm genuinely grateful for the gifts that I've been given by my Creator, you know. So and I have a very close relationship with my Creator. I'm not particularly religious, but I'd be a deeply spiritual person, you know. So yeah, that's where my happiness comes from, being grateful. So it definitely wouldn't depend on the success or the failure of any goals or achievements that I set out for myself. They're just sort of like, you know, a bonus, you know, in life when you get to these things. I think if you're happy, you're already successful, you know. I think if you're in comparable work, Sean, thanks for responding. Cheers and much love. And I just want to say to all of you guys, actually, like, you guys have been so supportive and so kind to me, and it's so appreciated. I mean, I never expected when I set the channel up that I would have so many amazing supportive people in the audience who have gotten me through some very difficult times indeed, you know. And I like to say, I'm just really grateful for that, you know. And moving forward, I do have things that I want to achieve with DCT, but I'm one of these people, I don't really like to plan too much, because there's an old saying, if you want to give God a good laugh, tell him all about your plans, you know. And because I live a life of service, I just serve, and whatever the divine plan is kind of unfolds for me. So I just I follow the path and that I've laid out for myself, which is to serve, you know, and I continue down that path. And I don't like to plan too much or say I want to end up here or I want to end up there. I want to see where the path leads me in a lot of ways, and see what happens, you know. Although I do have ideas for things that I want to do, I don't put too much planning into them, because things like generally come to me. I just kind of know what I want, and I kind of gently move towards it, and it just seems to come, you know. Oh, there's another thing as well, actually, which I should mention. A few people had asked me about this, actually, and it's kind of a funny story, but it's kind of tragic also. People were asking me, what happened to your teeth, Sean? Because after I posted a video of the being batting charges down Grafton Street by the Gardaí, there a little while back as I was recording the freedom protest. The next time people saw me after that, they noticed that I had a couple of teeth missing, and they were asking me what happened. Was there anything to do with that? So I just want to reassure people when they're asking me what, because like I've two teeth missing here, but I'll tell you what actually happened. I accidentally during lockdown flushed my teeth down the toilet. I know, it's just nuts. I'll tell you what happened. Like before I had lost a couple of teeth before, and I won't go into the whole thing. You know, it's a long story, but I've lived a kind of a eventful life. You know, so I lost a couple of teeth years ago, and I had a denture in the bottom and I had a denture in the top. And I was going to bed one evening, and I would just like I'd always put them in a jar of water. You know, when I was going to bed, and that was my habit. What I would always do, and on this particular night, anyway. I was just being lazy, to be honest with you. Like, and I just kind of thought, I can't be bothered going into the bathroom, putting these in the thing. And I just said, I'm just gonna roll them up in this bit of tissue here and put them by my bedside locker, you know. And I woke up the next morning, and as I do, I always get a fit of sneezes for some reason in the mornings when I woke up. So I'm like, achoo. Put all the tissue down on the locker. A few minutes later, I go into the bathroom with all the tissue, throw it down the toilet, flush the toilet. I'm walking back out of the bathroom, and I'm like, oh my God, my teeth, my two dentures, I just flushed down the toilet. There was no rescuing them, like, and it was like €1,200 for those two dentures. So I will get them replaced as soon as I can afford to. But for the moment, you're just gonna have to, make do with a toothless DCT. So I apologise for that. Well, I'm not really actually apologising for it. It's not really my fault, and I'm the one who has to suffer for it, you know. But it wasn't a great moment for me, to be honest with you, you know. So so that's what happened anyway. I didn't get beaten up, or nothing like that happened, and I didn't have any accidents or anything. I just was really, really silly and flushed my teeth down the toilet. You know, those are the breaks, I'm afraid. Those are the breaks. So I think I could probably leave it there. It's actually a much shorter Q&A video than I was expecting it to be. And there will be more updates over the next while. What I'm going to do is actually, I want to bring DCT back out onto the streets. So I'm going to start showing you guys around Dublin and introducing you to Dublin, different landmarks in Dublin, just to show you how beautiful this city really is. I'm going to bring you and show you our white sandy beaches and our beautiful parks and well-known landmarks, and maybe give a little bit of a history of these landmarks as I show you them, you know. I want to do that. I want to start meeting the people in Dublin as well, and getting to know the people a bit more. And obviously we'll keep putting out music videos as we always do, but I want to add some new street content on there also, you know, and let's see what develops with that. I'm excited to be back out on the street again, and the weather is getting much better and the days are getting much longer, so I am going to go out there and get some content that I think you guys are really going to enjoy, you know. Moving forwards as well, I will put on more of those live stream gigs, but like I say, they won't be as frequent. It will be as I can afford them, to be honest with you, you know. But they will be happening. I'll also be doing some live stream events that's going to come from the streets also. When the busking resumes, there's going to be people coming out that are going to blow your mind. I mean, like, the next generation of buskers that are coming out are, like, you will see what I mean. It's unbelievable, amazing stuff that's going to be coming when the busking does resume. It's going to be a whole lot of fun, you know. So stay tuned, guys. Like I say, I am back out on the streets, and I am trying as best I can to get a bit of balance in my life, but I'm beginning to regain my passion for what I'm doing, because for a couple of months there I was kind of stressed out of my mind with everything that was going on. Well, not stressed out of my mind, but I certainly wasn't enjoying it as much as I had been, you know. And but I am now, and I feel great. And I just want to say again, a massive thank you to all of you guys who have been supporting me and sending me messages, really kind messages, and encouraging me. And yeah, I just really want to thank you all. You're very, very kind. And every comment that's left is usually appreciated. The people on Facebook, I'm kind of sorry I haven't spent much time on there lately. I'm going to go over and spend more time there. Yeah, So I think for now I will leave it at that. It was a bit of a ramble, but I had just come back from a cycle actually, and I needed to get this video kind of done for this evening. It's actually, I'm going to post this probably in about an hour from now. So thanks a million, guys. I hope you're all enjoying your Good Friday, and I think it's going to be an interesting weekend coming up. There's some stuff going on in town this weekend. I'm going to go in and film, which will probably be posted on Monday, so stay tuned for that. I won't say too much about it. Yeah, but it will be interesting, I'm sure. So until then, folks, thank you very, very much for tuning in. Stay safe, stay well, stay happy, and take care. Bye bye.